Grandma. Oh my God.
That was the moment her grandmother realized that evil didn't always look like she thought it would. Just days earlier, the community in St. Martin's, Missouri had come together to search for 9-year-old Elizabeth Olten, a little girl who went to a friend's house after school but never made it home. The shy, sweet schoolgirl wasn't the type to stay gone longer than she was allowed. So when her mother couldn't reach her after she was supposed to be home, panic set in, and an all-out search was launched. Neighbors grabbed their flashlights, deputies came in with dogs, and helicopters circled the woods behind the neighborhood. Elizabeth's face was everywhere. Police began questioning anyone who had seen her or might know where she had gone. During one of those interviews, police would learn a lot more than they were prepared for. They were sitting across from a teenage girl. She didn't seem at all nervous, but she told them a story so cold, so brutal, that it brought her grandmother to tears. What completely despicable act did the girl describe to police that sent her grandmother into a full emotional collapse? The answer would horrify not just a family, but an entire country. Welcome back to Crime A to Z, where we detail cases and criminals from their very beginning until well after other reporting ends. Today we'll be talking about the Elizabeth Olten case. In St. Martin's, Missouri, the kind of place where families still leave their doors unlocked, the disappearance of a child wasn't just rare, it was nearly unthinkable. So, when it happened in their backyard, all hands were on deck. It was a case so inconceivable that it still stands as one of the most disturbing crimes of the investigators' entire careers. Let's dive in. And before we start, if you like how we present this video or any of our videos, once we get going, we always genuinely appreciate you hitting like and subscribe for us, please. Let's go. Elizabeth K. Olten was 9 years old and in the 4th grade at Pioneer Trails Elementary School. She loved horses, baking cookies, and listening to Taylor Swift and Hannah Montana. It was a Wednesday evening, October 21st, 2009, and the Olten family was settling in at home. Dinner was nearly ready when 6-year-old Emma, a neighbor and close friend of Elizabeth's from 4 houses down, came by and asked if Elizabeth could come out and play. At first, Elizabeth's mom, Patty, said no. It was a school night, and they were about to eat. But both girls begged the mother, promising it would not be for long. Patty gave in. She told Elizabeth she could go, but only for 1 hour. She had to be home by 6. Patty knew that her sweet, shy daughter did not like the dark, so she was confident she'd be home before the sunset, around 6:25. But by 6:15, Elizabeth had not come home. Patty called the cell phone she had given Elizabeth. No answer. She called again. Still nothing. Then she called Emma's grandmother, Karen, who Emma and her siblings lived with. To her shock, Karen said that she had not even seen Elizabeth. In fact, she didn't even know that Emma had gone out. Patty hung up and immediately called the police. By 6:30, officers were at the house. The woods behind the neighborhood were dense and sprawling, nearly 60 acres of forest, brush, and steep terrain. That's where they focused the search. Neighbors joined in to help search as well. Police went to Emma's house, but the family insisted that Elizabeth had not been there. Emma told officers that she and Elizabeth had been walking and playing in and around the woods and nearby yards. She said that after about an hour, Elizabeth set off to walk home, just like she promised. Emma said that she watched her leave, and that was the last time she saw her. Everyone was justifiably worried. Volunteers from neighboring counties searched the woods and canvassed the streets. As the search continued through the night, authorities called in the FBI for assistance. One of the first things agents requested was Elizabeth's cell phone records. Her carrier responded quickly, and the records revealed important information. Elizabeth's phone had never left the area. The signal had been pinging consistently near her home and in the wooded area behind her neighborhood. But just as investigators began zeroing in on that location, the phone died. By early the next morning, the search resumed, now entering the 12th hour since Elizabeth went missing. Sniffer dogs had been deployed. Dive teams were called in to search the area's creeks and ponds. Helicopters with thermal imaging circled overhead. Every car coming into or out of the neighborhood was stopped and searched. Registered sex offenders in the area were interviewed, and neighbors were asked to report anything out of the ordinary. By midday, more than 300 people were involved. So many people showed up to help that authorities had to start turning volunteers away. They simply couldn't manage the overwhelming response.
Behind me here is the VFW. This is where authorities and volunteers have been coordinating the search all day. Now they're actually asking for no new volunteers. The outpour from the community has been outstanding. They just can't handle any more volunteers.
But still, they found nothing. It would take another several hours before they found anything worth noting. That's when they came across a hole, dug in the ground, then covered back up. Authorities were notified and the hole was explored. But there were no signs of Elizabeth. Meanwhile, officers began re-interviewing neighbors, especially people closest to Elizabeth's last known location. That included Emma and her family again. Police didn't have any reason to question Emma's account about what happened, but they wanted her to walk them through it again to see if any new clues might surface. This time, Emma hesitated. She added a few new details, then a few more. Eventually, a completely different version of events unfolded. Emma now told officers that it was not her idea to go ask Elizabeth to play. It was her older half-sister, 15-year-old Alyssa, who told her to ask. And she said that after she and Elizabeth had been playing outside for a while, Alyssa came outside and joined them. Then, just as things seemed to be winding down, Alyssa asked Emma to leave. Emma said that Elizabeth looked like she was trying to head home, but Alyssa encouraged her to go just a little farther into the woods first. Emma didn't think much of it and did as she was told and wandered back to her own yard to play alone. Then later that evening, Emma noticed what looked like blood on Alyssa's clothes. Emma had scraped herself on a thorn bush and called out for Alyssa to come down and help her. When Alyssa came down is when Emma noticed the blood. It was enough for police to turn their attention toward Alyssa. Born in 1994, Alyssa Bustamante came from a deeply troubled family. Her father, Cesar Bustamante, struggled with substance use and was eventually sentenced to 10 years in prison for assault. Her mother, Michelle, was just 15 years old when she gave birth to Alyssa, and she too battled addiction with multiple arrests for DUI, marijuana possession, and theft. Her mother and father were cousins by marriage. When Alyssa was 2, the family moved to St. Martin's, Missouri so that Michelle could be closer to her mother, Karen Brooke. Michelle later had 3 more children, twin boys and another daughter. But the chaos continued. Alyssa often went hungry. Her mother used drugs around her and once even overdosed right in front of her. Eventually, Child Protective Services intervened. Alyssa and her siblings were removed from Michelle's care and sent to nearby Jefferson City to live with their grandparents, Karen and Gary Brooke. The grandparents adored the children and did their best to provide them with love, structure, and stability despite their rough start. To most, Alyssa seemed like a normal teenager with what many described as a dark streak, but not dangerous. Police visited the family's home again. This time, they noticed several holes that were dug in the family's yard, some resembling the hole that was found in the woods. They asked Alyssa about her actions that day, and she said that she had been walking alone in the woods. She said that she had not seen Elizabeth, and that she didn't even know that Emma had gone to her house. Alyssa's version of the day did not line up with what Emma told them. Alyssa was also vague about her route and her reasons. A search warrant was obtained to search the family's home and yard. Nothing they found seemed concerning, until they reached Alyssa's room. It was in complete disarray, but more concerning were the unsettling signs they found throughout the room. There were disturbing messages written on the walls, some of them in blood. On one of the walls, she had drawn the outline of a body, with her sister's name, Emma, written next to it. There were also letters from her imprisoned father with awkward content, but the big find was a buried notebook that served as Alyssa's diary, which they, of course, read. It was time to have a chat with Alyssa at the station. Alyssa came willingly. She didn't seem nervous. In fact, she appeared calm and at ease. Since Alyssa was a minor, she was accompanied by a juvenile advocate there to protect her interest, named Toby Meyer. Leading the interview was Sergeant David Rice from the Missouri State Highway Patrol. He asked Alyssa to walk through the day of the disappearance.
So I went to school. Okay. And I was there all day. And then I came home on the bus, and I got home around 3. No, 4. 3:30. 3:30, 4. I get home around then, and I just hung out in my room for a little while, and then I went for a walk around 5, 4:35, something like that. I was just walking around in the forest for a while, and I was supposed to take my little sister with me, but I ditched her because she's annoying.
Okay.
And I was just walking around in the forest, and then for about an hour, I came back around 5:36-ish, and I went up in my room, and I heard like yelling. So I went outside, and she was down in the ditch area. She was stuck in thorn bushes. I went down there, and I helped her out. And she asked me why I was waiting, because I found out on my period. I'm like, yeah, don't tell anyone that.
Before the officer even raises the issue, Alyssa volunteers that any blood presumably reported by Emma was simply a result of her being on her period.
And so we went out there, and my brother and Anthony were asking about it because they thought she was supposed to be at home or something.
Okay.
And I didn't really think much of it, so we just went back to the house.
She transitions from what she described as a pretty ordinary day into the frantic events that followed.
Came, and he was patting on the door, and he was like, do you know where Elizabeth is? Because he couldn't find her. And that's when things started to get, people were like, oh, what's going on? Like, where is she? But we ended up going to church, and a lot of stuff happened while we were there, because it's from 7 to 8:15-ish. And when we came back, there was 3 sheriff cars in our property, and there was people out searching everywhere. And that's pretty much it. I went to sleep after that.
Okay.
The officer then asks Alyssa to walk them through the day once more. They were not looking for new information. Instead, they were looking for what might change and what would hold up. A few small details would shift, but her overall story stayed the same. The officer patiently listened, but he knew more than he was letting on. Specifically, the information from Alyssa's diary. Many of her entries were disturbing. One of them read, "If I don't talk about it, I bottle it up. And when I explode, someone's going to die." But one entry, dated October 21st, the day Elizabeth vanished, had been completely scribbled over in blue ink. Initially, investigators could only make out 2 of the words beneath the scribble: slit and throat. Then, toward the end of the entry, they could read, "I gotta go to church now. LOL." Forensic analysis would later recover the full text beneath the ink. But for now, they were confident that Alyssa was hiding something very troubling. The officer changes direction. He asked Alyssa what she knows about Elizabeth.
She'd come over and swim. She's kind of girly, not naturistic, I guess you could say. She can be annoying.
Okay. Okay.
By this point, Alyssa has presented as sweet and accommodating, but her friends and social media presence reflected otherwise. On her YouTube description, she listed that her hobbies included cutting and killing people. Her Twitter account also offered a glimpse into her mindset. She often wrote about addiction, depression, and terror. She pondered to friends, including her boyfriend, what it would be like to kill someone. And she speculated whether she would be caught or not if she did.
Do you know what it feels like to kill somebody? She asked you that?
And it wasn't just toward others that Alyssa wanted to inflict pain. She had a history of cutting, and at the age of 13 had even attempted suicide. That resulted in her being prescribed Prozac. The officer next addressed the holes.
And there were some folks out there out in the forest, I guess, digging some holes or looking at some holes. And I guess they had said that you like to go out there and dig holes. So, I'm going to have to ask you some stuff about yourself.
Okay.
Because, obviously that plays in there if they were looking at holes and you're out there in the forest and that sort of thing. So I guess just tell me a little bit about yourself so I understand where all this is coming from.
I really like nature. animals being outside. It's just, nature is safe like that. And I get bored really easily, and I'm entertained really easily.
Okay.
So, digging holes is just something to do.
You just like to dig holes?
And I like to climb trees.
Okay.
And I bury dead animals that I find because I believe it's respectful to them.
Okay. What kind of holes do you dig? Tell me about these holes you dig.
Well,
You dig them a certain way every time, or just dig a hole?
Just dig a hole, very much.
Okay. Just wherever they're at? I mean, do you dig at a certain spot, or what?
Well,
Why did you dig that hole?
because Sunday I was bored. You don't really do much on Sunday. Can't watch TV, play video games, So, decided to go outside. I think my grandpa would have the exact time.
Her claiming that her grandfather would know the exact time she dug the hole is peculiar.
I don't really remember.
So then Friday, what'd you do? Think back to Friday.
After getting up, I hung out for a while at the house, and it was a nice day Friday, relatively nice day. So I decided to go outside and just do whatever, and I dug a hole.
Why did you dig that hole?
Because I was bored, and I felt like doing something.
Tell me about that hole, though. It's a very specific hole. I mean, it's a very unique hole, I should say.
Are all of your holes like that?
No.
Okay.
But why? You dug the hole, so you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
That was a very, very unique hole.
I guess. I was digging. I mean, whatever shape comes to mind. I was just entertaining myself.
The reason I'm asking, it just seems like and you can understand why, as if people were out in the woods looking for a person if they were lost, or God forbid looking for if they thought it was God forbid a body, why they would be alarmed by that hole, because they're come along a hole, freshly dug hole that was, I still think, a perfect rectangle about 3 feet by about 4.5, 5 foot, straight shovel marks down, about, as you described when I talked to you out there, about that deep. Straight down the first few inches of dirt, up until you get to that real hard packed dirt, almost as if somebody were digging down, got to the point where you got to those roots in that hard dirt and realized it's too hard to dig. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's a year old. They have sonar. They can run right over it, and they can tell you the shape, the depth, the whole thing. I mean, we're talking about guys that have the FBI. They have instruments that can do just about everything. Have you dug a hole like this before then, or is this the first time?
It's not completely like this, but it's like kind of like that.
Okay.
Like
So
big enough for a shoebox.
okay, but this is the first time of that size.
Yes.
Okay.
But what about the big round ones that I kept falling in?
Grandma chimes in to back up Alyssa's penchant for digging holes.
But what about the big round ones that I kept falling in? And I mean, they're deep. And as you told me, would you guys quit doing this because they're dangerous? And we used to ride our horses up there, and I could ride. I mean, they're huge.
Okay.
There's like 3 or 4 of them. Yeah. And this is on our property.
Digging pits for
Getting nowhere, the officer tries a new approach. Instead of questioning whether Alyssa did anything, he acts as though her involvement is a given. So he presents her with a forced choice, a set of options where one of them feels like the safer alternative.
Let's start at the beginning. Is this something that was planned out, or was this just an accident?
It was an accident.
It worked.
Okay. Well, this is a starting point then. Kind of what I thought. Why don't we start with what happened? Did you get home from school at 3:30? Do you want to stay here? You got home at 3:30?
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened from there?
I went in the forest. Like I said, was it there?
Yeah, which one for her? Was there in the forest?
Yes.
Was she alone?
Yeah. We decided to go hang out because it was a nice day. We were just messing. We were just messing around. She fell. She died. I didn't know what to do.
Alyssa claims that Elizabeth fell, and that it was all a terrible accident. Law enforcement doesn't buy it.
So I burned her body.
Where at in the forest?
I still didn't find the great bed.
By the creek bed?
Yes.
How did you burn her?
Then just got a bunch of wood. Started a fire. And burned her body.
Alyssa has provided a method of disposal of the body that she feels would result in there being nothing left to find.
Was that for her?
With Alyssa claiming that Elizabeth's death was an accident, the timing of when the hole was actually dug takes on new importance.
When did you dig the hole? You dug it ahead of time, didn't you?
I dug that hole on Wednesday.
Before you played with her?
Yes.
Alyssa claims that she dug the hole on the day of the murder before playing with Elizabeth, and that she burned the body afterward.
They'll go through and do an autopsy.
Okay.
And they will discover every injury on her body and the cause of death. And I understand you said she fell, and that's why she died. However, they will know from the autopsy if she was shot, if she was hit in the head, if her throat was cut. They will know all of that from the autopsy. So we need to know the truth, because at the end of the autopsy, they will know exactly how she died. So we need to know now the full truth, full disclosure right now, so it doesn't come out later that, well, wasn't telling the full truth again. How did you kill her?
She died.
How did she die? 9-year-old girls don't just die.
We were messing around. Then she fell back and hit her head.
Alyssa is sticking to her story, but the warning about all the injuries coming to light after the autopsy was not lost on her. So the officer asks her directly.
Was her throat cut?
Yeah.
It's too much for her grandmother Karen to take in. Alyssa gently excuses her grandmother for trying to spare her from what's about to come. The woman who has raised her, supported her, and stood by her for years agrees. She can't bear to hear what's coming next.
Grandma?
Oh my God.
She was grandmother leaving. I'm not going to ask any questions right now until we get. Take your time. Do you want to drink of water?
Now that Alyssa has finally confessed, they now want the details. The officer asks her to go through what actually happened.
I think you definitely had something because you knew you were going to kill him. I think you tried to dig the hole, like I said. You realized it was too hard to dig down that far.
Alyssa's grandmother appears more impacted by the killing than her granddaughter.
And I think you got out there. They knew you were going to kill her. And then you cut her throat. Is that what happened? Yes.
But despite Alyssa only finally breaking down, she'd been aware of and worried about her fate the whole time. She had told a friend after the killing that, "I did something really bad." Then she kept repeating to the friend that it was all supposed to be a game.
What did you use to cut her throat with? A pocket knife? A kitchen knife?
Kitchen knife.
Okay. Where's that kitchen knife now?
In the sink.
In the sink of your house?
I believe so.
Okay. Did you stab her?
Afterward.
Stab her body or where? Yes. Okay. How many times did you stab her?
2.
Two.
I think.
Did you hit her with anything first?
No.
Or did you just cut her neck? Or what? You tell me what happened.
Cut her throat. And she died. And then I just stabbed her.
When you got home from school, about 3:30, what happened from then? Walk me through step by step.
I got home. I went in my room. I still been out for floors for 5:30-ish. Then I walked over and it was outside.
When did you dig the hole?
I done that when I was trying to find a place to hide her body.
So did you dig that after you killed her? Yes? Okay.
Alyssa sticks to her claim that she dug the hole on the day of the murder. But the officer doesn't believe that. The timeline is too tight between when Elizabeth was last seen and when Alyssa returned home for her to have had time to dig a hole of that size. So he presses her on her timeline.
So at about 5:30, you went out. Did you go to her house to get her?
I went over there and she was outside, so it's like, yeah.
You knew you were going to do it then? Okay, so you went over there about 5:30 and got her. You had the knife with you. Had you made up your decision you were going to kill her then?
No.
At what point did you make the decision that you were going to kill her?
When we had been at the creek.
Okay. Why?
No.
You just decided? Okay. Was she facing you? Was she turned around? What happened?
She was turned around.
You just came up behind her and cut her throat? And then stabbed her twice? Okay. And is it true you said then you burned her body? Okay, is that part true? So is her body should still be there
Oh, in the creek.
Into the creek?
Yes.
Is the creek full of water?
Yes.
Okay. Because generally it's pretty hard to burn a body all the way. So it wasn't burned up all the way, was it?
No.
No, because it's hard to burn a body.
Right.
So you kind of pushed what was left of the body into the water. Was the water moving pretty fast?
Kind of.
Okay. Clothes still, you can still see her clothes. Were they burned off on the right? Okay. And you took the knife back home?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then what did you do from there? You had the knife, and then show me what happened from there.
I just walked back and came inside.
Did you walk back this path that you showed me?
Yes.
Alyssa has confessed to killing Elizabeth, including some questionable details which will be addressed in a moment. But first, he had to dig further for one more thing. Any accomplices?
What about the holdup?
It was just there.
No, it wasn't just there.
I dug it. Yeah, it was there.
When did you dig it?
Oh, after I was looking for something to do with their body, so I dug it.
When?
It was before I came home
Before you came home from where?
from the forest.
Alyssa's responses are becoming less confident, and the officer is still certain the hole was not dug at the time she's claiming. And he also still wonders if she had help.
Who helped you?
No.
Grandpa helped you, didn't he?
No.
You didn't have a shovel with you.
I had a knife.
You didn't dig that hole with a knife. You did not dig. I was out there for 5 hours. You didn't dig that hole with a knife. Your grandpa loves you very much, doesn't he? Grandpa would do anything for you. I know you don't want to tell me. I know you want to protect him. But we have got to get to the truth in this. You came back. You told him what had happened. And he wanted to help you. He wanted to try to make this right.
I didn't know my grandpa anything.
Who helped you?
No one.
We're going to put them all on a polygraph.
Okay.
Who helped you?
No one.
When did you dig the hole?
Wednesday.
When?
After I killed her.
I didn't actually kill her.
Authorities do not have any evidence that the grandfather was involved, but need to assume there may have been accomplices until they can rule them out. It was fair for law enforcement to question whether Alyssa had acted alone. As easy as digging a hole may sound, anyone, male or female, who's actually dug a deep hole knows that it's no easy task, especially in the short time frame that Alyssa described. Even her boyfriend said that he didn't think that she could have carried out the crime by herself. He may have even slipped and divulged more than he intended to admit during his own interview with police.
All I know is what the FBI told me. What did they tell you? They told me that she buried him and then slit her throat and stabbed her. She already had a dug hole. They buried her. She wasn't big enough, so then they buried her again. They buried her again? I mean, yeah. She's great. Tuesday. You're not in trouble here, okay? You're not in a lot of trouble here. I mean, you're not in a lot of trouble here, bud. It's just what I've been saying for the past couple of days. Because I just couldn't see the doing that by yourself. But obviously, you just told me that there was another person involved, and I couldn't believe that. No, you told me.
They continue to press Alyssa about the timeline and her grandfather's involvement, and it finally pays off.
I dug it Friday. I did. No one helped me.
Was it your grandpa?
No one helped me. I did it by myself.
She finally admits that she dug the hole days before the murder. It was planned, premeditated. It's not lost on law enforcement, however, that Alyssa's claim of digging the hole earlier now conveniently made it more believable that she did it on her own. They have the details they need, so now they need to recover the body to perform an autopsy and confirm what Alyssa has told them. The officer and the juvenile advocate challenge Alyssa directly to try to get the final missing piece of information.
Your statements that you're making don't make sense. It's evident that you're lying. And we treat people who can't be honest completely different than we treat people who can be honest. You can be honest. You can tell us what happened. Even if you aren't protecting people you feel obligated to protect, we at least know we can help you. Okay? So he's going to walk out. And like he said, he can't come back and talk. But don't you want to have told him the truth right from the beginning? This is your opportunity. It's your opportunity.
Okay, good. Was her throat as stressful? Was her? Mm-hmm.
The truth that they had spent over an hour pressing for caught even them off guard.
You strangled her with your hands?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have a knife on you?
Yes.
Did you cut her throat at any time?
Yes.
Cut her throat afterwards?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you strangled her first until she was unconscious, dead, and then you slit her throat.
Mm-hmm.
And did you stab her then?
Mm-hmm.
Did you do anything else to her?
No.
Okay. And then what happened after that?
Buried her body.
You buried her?
Yes.
Is your body still out there?
I think so.
Still out there in the same spot?
I believe so.
Alyssa's uncertainty about whether the body is still there triggers speculation again about an accomplice.
That was gonna be a bitch. But I didn't do it.
You didn't do it. Why? What was...
I couldn't dig that far. It was scared.
How deep did you dig the grave that she's in?
It's not that deep.
Okay. Will you be able to point out on a map and take us to where she's at?
Mm-hmm.
Alyssa continues to be vague about the details of the hole that law enforcement found during the initial search for Elizabeth, as well as an additional grave dug on the same day that would ultimately be used to bury Elizabeth.
Okay, you didn't burn her, did you?
Yeah.
Did you bring a shovel with you?
No.
How did you dig the hole?
I had already dug it.
Okay, when did you dig that hole?
That one was also on Friday.
Okay, so you dug the hole on Friday and had it all ready. Did you leave the shovel out there?
No.
Okay. So the hole was already dug on a Friday, and then you brought her out there Wednesday. Killed her there on Wednesday, strangled her, then cut her throat, stabbed her twice, put her in the hole, and then how'd you fill the dirt in?
With my hands.
With your hands.
There's still something you're not telling. I can tell.
Oh, that's it.
Sure.
Yes. Yes.
Why did you pick her?
I don't know. Should just did.
Was there something about her? Did you just want to know what it was like to kill someone?
Yeah, I just wanted to know.
The fact that she killed because she wanted to know what it felt like to kill someone is one of the earliest red flags of psychopathic behavior. Alyssa agrees to show them where Elizabeth's body is located. Authorities audio recorded a first-hand account of exactly what happened at the actual site it occurred.
Sergeant David Rice, Missouri State Highway Patrol, and it is Michael Kuti with the Cole County Juvenile Office. And we're here in Cole County at the site where you say this occurred, where you buried. Can you walk me through? I want you to walk me through step by step. When you got up here, what actually occurred?
What? Before everything happened, I'm gonna drag her in the hole.
Okay. What happened here?
I strangled her.
Okay.
And then cut her throat and stabbed her.
Okay. When you strangled her, was she facing you?
Yeah.
Okay. So she was facing you, looking towards you.
Mm-hmm.
You strangled her. One hand?
Two
hands? Okay. And what happened? Did she stand up, fall to the ground? What happened?
She fallen to the ground.
Okay. Was she moving at that point?
No.
Okay. So she was lying on the ground. Was she face down on her back?
She on her back.
Okay. And where was, you said earlier you had a knife. Where was your knife at that point?
I put it back in my pocket.
And
Like, not pocket, but like, I held it.
which pocket was it in? Front?
It was like in
back,
my waist.
in your waist?
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
right there.
Okay. And that was the knife that you told me about with the black handle that you told me earlier? Okay. And what did you do with the knife?
I put it in the sink.
No. When you were here, once you said she was on the ground not moving, you said, well, after that point, what did you do?
I cut her throat and then stabbed her
You cut her throat and stabbed her. Where did you stab her?
in her chest area.
In her chest area?
Yeah.
In the front or in the back?
Front.
The front. Okay. How many times?
Twice, actually.
Twice. Okay.
Autopsy results would eventually show that Elizabeth was stabbed a total of 8 times, not 2.
And then what happened after that?
Dragged her into the hole.
Dragged her into this hole over here?
There it is.
Okay. And when did you dig that hole?
Friday.
Okay. How did you cover her up? Did you have a shovel or something here?
I just used my hands.
Used your hands? Okay. And this is the hole over here? She's in her. How deep is that hole?
It's not very deep.
Okay. All right. Okay, and I think we've talked about everything else back at the office. I just wanted to go over. Is there anything else? This all happened right about here? He's pretty sure of that?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you leave anything out here that you can think of?
I think she dropped a piece of gum somewhere.
You did?
She did.
She dropped a piece of gum? Where do you think that was at?
I'm not sure. It's probably under some leaves now, but
What happened to her phone?
I'm pretty sure it's in her pocket the entire time.
In her pocket?
Yes.
So do you think her phone is in her pocket in that hole?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever hear it go off?
No.
On October 23, 2009, 2 days after Elizabeth Olten's disappearance, Alyssa Bustamante was arrested. And if the details Alyssa had already shared about the murder weren't disturbing enough, what forensic analysts discovered underneath the ink in her diary made it even worse. She had written, "I just killed someone. I strangled them and slit their throat and stabbed them. Now they're dead. I don't know how to feel at the moment." It was amazing. As soon as you get over the "oh my god, I can't do this" feeling, it's pretty enjoyable. I'm kinda nervous and shaky though right now. Okay, I gotta go to church now. LOL. Alyssa's grandfather would later reflect how on the night Alyssa killed Elizabeth, she seemed to be in an unusually good mood, consistent with the euphoria that thrill killers feel after they commit their crimes. Initially, Alyssa was charged with first-degree murder and armed criminal action. Although she was only 15 when she killed Elizabeth, she was certified to stand trial as an adult due to the brutality of the crime, the planning involved, and concern that the juvenile system would not hold her long enough. Under Missouri law, the juvenile system would have required release by age 21. By certifying her as an adult, the court opened the door to a much longer sentence, including life in prison. Despite confessing in detail and even leading authorities to Elizabeth's body, Alyssa entered a plea of not guilty. But as the case moved closer to trial, that confession ran into legal trouble. Because Alyssa was a minor, a juvenile advocate was required to be present during her questioning to protect her rights, prevent coercion and intimidation, and other protections. Her defense claimed that the advocate in the room did the opposite, using deceptive tactics to extract a confession rather than protecting her rights.
There's statements that you're making that don't make sense. It's evident that you're lying. And we treat people who can't be honest completely different than we treat people who can be honest. You can be honest. You can tell us what happened. Even if you aren't protecting people you feel obligated to protect.
Additionally, Alyssa had not been read her Miranda rights. The judge agreed, ruling the confession inadmissible. So jurors never saw the video where Alyssa confessed to the murder or described how she did it. But even without it, there was enough evidence to move forward. Her defense was poised to present a case claiming mental illness and that she had been over-medicated due to a Prozac dose adjustment. However, in January 2012, she accepted a plea deal, pleading guilty to second-degree murder and armed criminal action. The agreement allowed her to avoid a trial and the possibility of a life sentence without parole. During the sentencing hearing, Alyssa addressed the court, expressing remorse for her actions. She stated, "If I could give my life to get her back, I would. I'm sorry." During sentencing, both Alyssa and Elizabeth's grandmothers were present. Alyssa's grandmother left the courtroom in tears, while Elizabeth's wheelchair-bound grandmother shouted, "Alyssa should get out of jail the same day Elizabeth gets out of the grave." The court considered Alyssa's age, her history of mental health issues, and the possible Prozac over-medication, and sentenced her to life in prison, with the possibility of parole for the murder charge, plus a consecutive 30-year sentence for armed criminal action. Near the end of her ordeal, Alyssa tried to make something productive out of her time in custody. While awaiting trial, she asked for permission to finish high school through a distance learning program. The judge denied her request. Even after sentencing, Alyssa and her attorneys kept trying for the chance to complete her diploma. Each time she was denied. However, a photo of Alyssa in a cap and gown was later circulated online, suggesting that she may have obtained her high school diploma or some other achievement, possibly through the prison's GED program. After her sentencing, Alyssa became something of an underground celebrity. There were online fan pages, artwork of her, and even fake accounts using her name and photo, pretending to be her. In prison, Alyssa formed a relationship with another inmate and settled into the routines of her new life behind bars. She was originally scheduled to be eligible for parole in 2044. But in 2021, Missouri passed Senate Bill 26, allowing some juvenile offenders to apply for parole after 15 years. While it excluded anyone convicted of first-degree murder, it did not exclude anyone convicted of second-degree murder, which meant that Alyssa, with her second-degree murder conviction, suddenly qualified. Elizabeth's family was outraged. They had spent years fighting for justice and stronger protections for child murder victims. Under the new law, Alyssa applied for parole in 2024. Right after the hearing, Elizabeth's family urged lawmakers to fix the law. Alyssa's parole was denied, and soon after, Missouri passed Senate Bill 754, which changed the rules so that people convicted of second-degree murder could no longer apply for parole early. The new law was designed to block people like Alyssa from having any further early parole hearings. But since she already had a 2029 hearing scheduled before the law took effect, it's still unclear whether that hearing will move forward as planned or be canceled under the updated law. But even if she's granted parole in 2029, she would still have to serve her additional 30-year sentence for armed criminal action. So her earliest possible release would not come until 2059, when she'll be 65 years old. In the years after Elizabeth's death, her family filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Alyssa and her guardians. They claimed the grandparents knew Alyssa had serious mental health issues and failed to protect others from her. The case never went to trial. A settlement was reached for $5 million. It was mostly symbolic since Alyssa and her family had no real assets. But for Elizabeth's loved ones, it was a way to formally recognize the pain they endured and hold someone accountable. Cases like these are just pure cruelty. And unfortunately, we've got a few more of them on deck. Cases that are so cruel, they make even the most deranged minds seem mild. Let us know what you think about this case in the comments, or drop us any other cases you'd like us to cover. And if you like how we presented this case, we'd really appreciate your support by hitting like, share, and subscribe.